Start recording. So, what's going on? We are here with Mike from Drone Deer Recovery, which is the name of his business, and also the name of his YouTube channel. Very easy to find. Just YouTube, Google search Drone Deer Recovery, and the channel comes right up. I love it. It's a great channel, man. I jumped in early. So I started
Okay.
following you guys like pretty early in sort of your growth there. Um, and I
Cool.
love it, man. So
Do you
uh,
know? Do you know where you hopped in at? Around how many subs we had, or no?
I don't know the sub count, but I'm gonna want to say it was, last fall, early fall.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it basically it like you said, it just kind of ripped off as soon as I started uploading the content.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell people like what does Drone Deer Recovery do?
We use thermal imaging drones to locate carcasses of deer or anything really that has a heartbeat or has not necessarily a heartbeat but has warmth. We use thermal imaging drones, so we find the heat signature, and then we have a 200 times zoom camera on our drones as well. So once we find that heat signature, we can zoom in and see if it's the deer you hit. And outside of that, we've looked for hogs. We've found coyotes, raccoon. We've found lost puppies. It's unlimited what you can do with this technology.
It's unlimited. And I will tell you this. I think the Lost Puppies was probably my favorite episode. That
Oh,
really
that's
tugged
cool.
on my heartstring, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Because
it's truly when you're out there looking for a pet, like it's different than looking for a deer because,
obviously,
yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things, right? We don't want to lose our pets.
yeah. And the sort of, the extreme dichotomy there of like you're looking for a deer that's either dying or dead, right? So it's
Yep.
prey. It's prey,
Yeah. Yep.
and the lost little puppy, dude. It's like, come on, we got to help it. We
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
find
Yeah. I
it.
mean, that is. Yep. That's truly how it is.
Yeah. So tell me, okay, this you said unlimited, and I agree with you, and we're gonna get there. But tell me about the drones that you're using currently and have been using, for the past year or so.
Yeah.
Tell
Yep.
tell me
So
about the
I.
drones and what their capabilities are. You can get
Yeah,
into some
so
specifics. That's fine.
we use the DJI Matrice 30T is what we use, and that's what we require our operators to use because it has the highest zoom and clarity. It also can withstand weather conditions that other drones can't, like rain, snow, high winds, that type of thing. So that's required by our operators is to have the Matrice 30T. That way we can go out in all types of weather conditions to help our clients in whatever situation they're in.
All right, and talk about the camera.
So the camera is a camera that is mounted to the drone. It's not something that we put on aftermarket. It's all built with it on there. Originally, when DJI engineered this drone, they were focused on the law enforcement side of things, like search and rescue, that
Mm.
type of thing. And so the kit that you can buy from us and from other suppliers basically is that drone, and everything's ready to go. When we talk 200 times zoom camera, it has 4 different cameras on the drone. You got your FPV, you got your thermal, you got your wide angle lens, and then you got your zoom lens on there. And yeah, so that's basically the equipment that's on the drone, and it's not something you can interchange on the Matrice 30T.
So is it that it's proprietary, basically?
Yeah, I guess I don't know that many details about is this camera and stuff only available for DJI. I assume it's not, but when DJI engineered this drone, they really got into a really good airframe size and compactability with the camera that it's carrying. So before the Matrice 30T came along, you had a Mavic series of drones.
Yeah.
Then it went to an M300 series, which was a huge change. There was like, I don't know what the size is of a Mavic, but I would say like 12 inches. So it
Yeah,
went from a
they're
12 inch,
way smaller. Yeah, way
yep,
smaller.
like 12
Yep.
inch drone to probably a 52-inch drone, and there was nothing in
Yeah.
the middle there. So the Matrice 30 really filled a spot that was not being filled, and I just feel like they absolutely nailed it on the capabilities, the ease of use, and how quickly you can set it up and launch.
How fast does it go?
I would say if I'm in a hurry and I really want to get that drone up, I should have it in the air in 40 to 45 seconds. Or you're
Right.
saying speed wise?
But yeah, that's
Top
fine. I
speed,
would ask that
top,
too. But yeah, how fast
top
will it go
speed
through
is
the air?
50 miles per hour.
50 miles an hour.
Yep.
And the battery life, roughly.
So the manufacturer would say 40 minutes, but that's probably taking it from 100% to 0%. You could probably stay in the air, but we don't do that. We take our batteries from 100 to 25%. So you're looking at about 25, 30 minutes, give or take, right in there.
Right. So it cuts into the flight time to kind of be safe, just in
Yeah,
case. Yeah,
yeah.
just in case you have a headwind trying to get
Yep.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and let me ask you about this because what? So you haven't mentioned the light. So you guys have lights on these things, right?
Yeah, you're talking about the spotlight that we use
The spotlight. Yeah.
at night. At night, it does have a night vision camera, but that night vision is only good to, like, I don't know, maybe 30 feet, because it has its own laser infrared light on the drone. You can't see it. It's not something that's visible to the human eye, but that laser infrared light is only good for about 30 feet. Well, if you're at 400, right below 400 feet, and you're trying to look at something at night, there's not enough light there for you to see. So we have a spotlight that mounts to the top of the drone that syncs up with the camera of the drone. And wherever we're looking, with the camera, the spotlight will look in that direction. And so it's not like, it is really, really bright, but if you're at 400 feet, it's not like overwhelming bright, but it's enough
Yeah.
light for the night vision camera to gather enough light that it needs for us to see whatever it is that we got to see.
Yeah, and can you also use that in conjunction with just the normal like optical camera if you were filming just normal?
Yeah. You're saying like not the night vision camera. So the night
Yeah,
vision
just like
camera,
if you were filming, if you were trying to take a pretty picture of a fawn, could you use that?
use
Like
the
in
the
yeah,
spotlight or use the camera.
yeah, use the spotlight.
Yeah, yeah, you could use that.
You could see, yeah, because I know you guys had footage where you lit. I saw you lit things up, some deer up, and it was like normal film. It wasn't
Yeah,
thermal.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So you're talking about the color. That's an
yeah.
RGB camera. So red, green, blue is normal. What we consider normal. We can switch that on our remote to be night vision or just use the RGB camera. We don't use the RGB camera unless we need to look for blood or something like that because it requires more light to see what we're looking at. So
Okay.
that would mean we have to get closer to the item or the whatever it is that we're looking at, carcass, whatever. So if we're at 400 normally, what we like to stay at, we would have to come down to maybe 200 to really use and get good image with the RGB camera.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So let's let me pivot a little bit. Are there? Well, let me ask you this. Actually, is there any kind of software? Because I'm ignorant of this matrice that you're talking about. Like I don't know that much about it. Um, like back in the day, man, it used to be, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, 7 years ago. It was some kind of matrice that had an XT2 camera on it, and it's like that was cutting edge back then. And
Okay.
man, it seems like we've come a long way. Is there any kind of software integration that gives you any kind of like the software is working to identify something that you can't see? Does that exist
So
in your drone currently?
no, that does not exist currently. Um, we may or may not be working on our own software to be able to do that. But currently, you have to do it with a human eye. So you have to understand what the image is that you're looking at in order for the drone to do any good. So if I just throw it in anybody's hand uh, with no training or any type of education on what a thermal image looks like and what it is that you should be looking for, it's going to take you a little bit to understand it. So our operators go through training where they, go through thermal imaging and videos and that type of thing to start understanding what it is the image that they're looking for, or what it is that they're looking at, and what is it inside of the image that they're looking for. Because you can look at the image, but if you don't understand the signals that you're looking for, then you will oftentimes not find what it is that you're out there trying to find.
Sure. Right. So like the human sort of interpretation of optics of the screen is still very important with what you're doing.
Yeah, yep, yeah, for sure.
Mhm. Now, do you see that changing in the future? I
Oh yeah,
mean,
oh yeah, just like all technology that we've seen progress over the last 10 years. Like, let's even just talk about this phone that I'm holding, that I'm talking to over the internet. I mean, back in the day when phones first came around, there was this big old box you had to put in your truck just to try to have a cell phone. So technology, the drones are basically a flying computer, and as they get them better and better, I believe that there will be such a thing as AI being able to find what it is that we're looking for sure.
I mean, I think that already exists. I think the capability. Um, so if you wanted, if you wanted to get like a, Steve Wozniak type guy to build you a drone with AI capability, I think it could be done. I know that some
I mean,
people are
okay, so
doing it.
AI and drones is not unheard of.
Yeah.
We fly our drones all the time on like certain missions. So that would be AI telling the drone where to fly, how high to fly, and how fast to fly. But what it's not doing is taking that image that the drone is seeing, and let's say we're flying over a 200-acre, you know, wooded area. It's not going to identify a thermal hotspot, stop, turn over, zoom in, and look at it. As of right now, that is not available that I'm aware of. I do think that that is something that will become, more apparent and
Hmm.
be, it will get there. Basically, it's going to take some time because you have to, because there's times we're looking at rocks. So for the AI to be good enough to not stop all the time at a rock is going to take a little bit of time to, program that into a software.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to dig a little deeper into exactly where we're at with that. But you say a matter of time. Uh, I mean, what are your opinions?
10
Ballpark
years.
that 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The reason I say that is because we got into the ag side of drones, and the ag drones are good, but they got a lot to work on yet to get those really, really dialed in. So I see
Really?
that technology getting, revamped or redone in the next 5 to 10 years. So I would say that the thermal side of things will be about the same.
So when you're talking about the ag drones, which just so everybody knows, he's agriculture. So
Yep.
these are drones that will spray at whatever pesticides or fungi, anti-fungi, things like that in areas where crop dusters literally just can't get to.
Yeah.
And so
So
what you're talking about,
we think about these agricultural drones as only being good for small fields and tight areas where helicopters and airplanes can't get into, but they're going to do so much more than that. As they progress and get better, we're actually going to replace airplanes and helicopters. And the reason I say that is because your application is better with a drone. And
yeah,
reason being is because when you set that drone to be 14 feet above the crop, it's going to be 14 feet above the crop
yeah,
exactly. Like, it's not going to have human error or anything involved there. As a helicopter goes ripping across the corn at, say, 100 miles an hour, it's going up and down. It might fluctuate anywhere from 14 to 25 feet. Unless it's a super flat field, then he might be able to keep his altitude there. But if it's rolling and stuff, it's going to be hard for them to stay right at that altitude. And another reason, I mean, we're kind of getting sidetracked here, but agriculture is really something that I'm getting passionate about because of how good it works. It's giving the farmers a better coverage than what a airplane or helicopter can do. And the reason that is the prop wash of a drone is pushing down to keep the drone in the air. And what that is doing is it's moving the crop around, not like wild, but it's moving the crop around. And as that fungicide or whatever it is that you're spraying, it gets inside of the crop and moves around. The way to explain it is, if a crop duster, an airplane at 150 to 200 miles an hour is ripping across the corn, there's nothing moving the corn around because it's just scooting over the top of it. And as that fungicide or whatever that chemical is he's letting out, it's going to fall down and it's going to lay on whatever top that it first touches. Understand?
yeah. Oh, totally.
So, yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
So basically inside the crop. So now the farmers are already seeing a better application, basically getting a better application done with the drones because it's actually getting inside there where it needs to be. In Indiana, we have already had farmers that said, I don't want the helicopter back here. I want drones. So it's coming. I'm telling you.
I agree. I mean, I think it's already a brilliant thing to do. Like when I saw that you had introduced that into your business model, I was like, of course, but you said that there were some problems, and I guess AI related. So does that have to do with like programming the drone to do
Yep.
this huge like back and forth sweep?
Yep. So the issues that we're seeing is radar issues, sensor issues because of this product. Whatever you're spraying gets on the sensors, gets on the cameras, gets on the radar. And if it gets too heavy on there, then those sensors and that type of thing don't function as they should. So you got to be, on top of it. Your ground guys got to be cleaning those things. And I just think that as they get better designing these things, they'll have those sensors and stuff in areas that won't get affected by the chemical or whatever it is that you're applying, if that makes sense. And then
Yeah, absolutely.
outside of that, their radar capabilities right now, they're good, but they're not like bulletproof, meaning that it's sensing the hills and stuff and going up and down according to whatever the terrain is. But as they get better, I think it's basically its processing speed. So the computer is relaying this information that's coming into its brain, and I don't understand all the technology behind it, but imagine that the radar is reading out front of it, but this drone is flying at 21 miles an hour. Well, by the time that information that it just read a second ago gets to its brain and tells it to climb, it's starting to get into the hill. So if it's going toward a hill, it's getting so close to the hill because it hasn't read fast enough to tell it to go up before it got there. Those types of things are things that I believe with time they're going to get so doggone good with it, and it's going to process things so quickly that
Yeah.
it's just going to be nuts. Like, so for instance, if I'm going 21 mile an hour and I'm coming to a slight hill that, you know, is going up, the drone might stop and it'd be like, whoa, there's an obstacle there. Well, then it processes like, oh no, it's not a hill, I'm going to keep going. So it might start and stop at times. That's going to go away as they get the processing figured out.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, and I also see maybe a complete redesign, something with the nozzles. I mean, you know, it's not gonna be that hard to put nozzles on a drone that maybe go 4 feet down.
Well,
Like
the nozzles right now,
deployable.
I like how they have the nozzles set up with the latest ones. So the T30 is the smaller drone of DJI, and that has nozzles that have you got to change the tips on it to change the droplet size and stuff. So those are not good, but the new ones have I forget what it's called, but they have a spinning disc that you can adjust how big you want the droplet size.
Right.
I think that the nozzles and that type of thing might get better, but that's not where our issues were coming from that we were having as we were testing different drones. DJI's drone is really, if you look at it next to another drone that we compared, is really janky. Like, it's just, the whole thing kind of moves around, but it works. Like, they have the software. They're starting to get the software figured out.
It's weird, man, for DJI.
Yeah,
You know.
but the other companies, they really put, you know, effort into the engineering side of things. They got a really good hardware base, but their software is just so far behind the game that it's super frustrating.
Huh. Well, let me go back to like sort of the normal thermal discussion and the capabilities of the drones you're using for thermal. Do you find? I mean, obviously, part of the hunting season, man, the canopy's up. Is so. I mean, I imagine that's a challenge.
Oh, super hard. So early season, I just tell the operators, you know, it's gonna take time. There will be situations that you can't find them, but it's still a better option than not looking at all. Basically, the way I like to explain people is when the canopy is on, you okay. So if I would go look for a deer with the canopy off, if I find that deer in 10 minutes, if I look for that same carcass in that same location, it might take me 45 minutes to an hour with the canopy on.
Yeah.
But that being said, there might still be cases and scenarios where it is just so doggone thick that he's, you know, under something that you literally just can't see through. So early season, it's a bitch. Early season.
And it depends on the latitude. I mean, I know you're up there in like Ohio.
Yep.
And so that latitude, you're gonna get a canopy drop before we get it here in Georgia. But
when is your canopy drop and when's your rut? Because I bet it's somewhat close.
So I'm not a hunter. I think hunting season starts in Georgia for deer in October.
Okay.
I want to say.
When is
But the
your
canopy doesn't fully drop until like late November.
Yeah, but I bet your rut down there probably is until 1st of December. So that's the busiest time. That's the busiest time for drone deer recovery is during the rut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Truthfully, I don't know what to tell you guys down south because I get that question a lot. Like, will it work in the pine plantations and that type of thing? And it's like, I have found deer in pine trees back home, but we don't have that type of stuff. Now, I have come to Georgia and done some herd analysis and found deer in pine trees, but it's hard. But it can be done. So it's one of those things. Somebody wants
it
to try.
depends. It depends on where you're at in Georgia. Georgia is such a diverse state. In North Georgia, it's mostly hardwoods. So in the mountains.
Yeah.
So we have So I mean, I tell people this all the time. In the summer, it's like Vietnam, and in the winter, it's Hiroshima. So the canopy just drops, dude, and the pines that dot the mountains aren't. That's not ever a concern. Like,
okay.
so,
Yeah. No, I don't.
but
I don't
if you go down into the Piedmont or the flatter areas of Georgia, it's nothing but pine trees. So almost. So yeah, it depends on where you're at in Georgia. You could literally be 3-hour drive and have a completely different scenario you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because we're at the tip of the Appalachians begins here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do believe that the technology will work in those areas. It might just be a lot harder. When I say a lot harder, you're going to spend a lot more time in the air than I would to find a carcass until the leaves drop. And what's nice about this is if you can stick it out and you can keep going during the hard searches with how the canopy is, when it does come off, you are gonna be so jacked up. It's like, oh my gosh, like, is this easy? If you have the right equipment. So you start when it's hard, and it's going to progressively get easier.
Because I mean, that really is how easy it is to find things when the canopy's down.
Yep.
Like if I said, Mike, here's a 1 square mile area, go find me a raccoon. You think you could find it with the canopy down?
100%.
Like,
no,
yeah.
I mean, it's not even a question if I would find it.
Or a bear.
Yeah. If he's not denned up.
Yeah, they don't really do that down here.
Oh, they don't?
Well, no, they have dens. Yeah, they have dens, but I thought you meant like hibernation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's interesting stuff, dude, because I just keep finding my whole thing with thermal drone technology, and I'm obsessed with it. I want a thermal drone, dude. And I'll just be honest with you right here to the whole world, man. I don't have 15 grand to drop on one right now.
Yeah.
That might change in the future, but I think thermal drones are they're really the most advanced drone on the planet, minus a Reaper drone or something. But those are aircraft. Those aren't really.
My thing is so the thermal camera that we have available is only 640 pixels. So it is great for what we have, but man, I would love to have an HD thermal camera. And that is something with time, an HD thermal will come out. And that's then just going to take it to a whole nother level of the things that we're going to find. And I know they have them already. They have them available, but they only give us what they want to give us, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't just you know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, man, like FLIR technology, like the stuff that they actually have now, we won't see for
Yep.
5 to 10 years on the civilian market,
Yep. You got it. That's true.
and which is kind of a shame. I don't even know, like, you can't really weaponize FLIR technology. I guess maybe you could, I don't know, but they're afraid of somehow be misused.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But how can you ever misuse the best technology possible, say, like for a SARS drone? How could you ever misuse that? It's a great purpose,
Yeah.
you know,
I
to
mean,
be able to.
yeah, that is the thing. Talking about misuse, I mean, that's the biggest fear right now with all DNR. You know, departments is they're trying to say that this stuff is illegal to use to do carcass recovery, and basically they're scared of the technology getting in the wrong hands and using it in a way that you shouldn't. But what I'm trying to tell people or tell guys is, dude, you have to make it legal to the good people. If you make it illegal, they're still going to do whatever the heck they want because they're bad people, right? So if they're doing bad things with it currently, then they're still going to do bad things even if you say it's black and white illegal to use drones as carcass recovery. But that's a whole nother thing.
I agree, and I know what you're talking about with that, but it's also the ridiculousness in that way of thinking is also, well, we can't sell cars to the general public because somebody might do something bad with the car one day.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's the same kind of
Yep.
thinking.
Yep.
And I know that you guys are involved in a lawsuit against
Yep.
a state. We can talk about that or not. It doesn't matter. I'm not
Yeah.
trying.
I mean,
I'm not.
talk about it. I Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about it if you want. Like,
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
very passionate about
I mean, we
the
are
fact.
currently
I'm
in a lawsuit with the state of Michigan because they are misinterpreting the law, and in turn, it's unconstitutional what they're doing. So there's a law firm basically representing us to uh, fight for us and not let government overreach determine if we can operate our business in that state. And it's going to take a few years, but that's basically it. They sent us emails, just telling us flat out it's illegal to use a drone to recover a carcass. And
based on what?
well, they say that there's in the law it says that you can't use aircraft in the aid of hunting, but without going into a lot of details, like hunting, the definition of hunting and recover a carcass is different, but they're putting it all into the same boat.
So that's Michigan State DNR.
Yes.
And so what makes them think they control the airspace?
Good question.
Yeah, so I would go straight to the FAA with that. I mean, Michigan, you know as well as I do, there's no state or city or even person. I mean, 5 feet, 10 feet above your roof line is called national airspace,
Mm-hmm.
and there's only one body that controls that. And that's the FAA. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, yeah, I'm on your side. It just makes no sense that they can completely shut a state down like that because
They can't.
I mean, they're misinterpreting it. And they basically have sent us emails that if they catch us flying a drone, helping to recover a carcass, that they would fine us and seize the equipment or
On
something.
private land? On private land?
I just know that it was stated in an email that you cannot do drone deer recovery in
Oh
the state
man, they have no case.
because it's going. They say it's illegal and you're aiding in the hunt.
You, I mean,
I have
I
to
don't
kind of
know
be
if
careful about what it is that I say because they will go back and try to dig up things that I say.
No, yeah, I understand that. I don't want you to blow your case. So I'll kind of, for just a minute, I'll do the talking for you in a way. I'll give my opinion. So again, I would recommend that. I don't know if you've reached out to anybody at the FAA. I would definitely get on board with somebody at the FAA and talk about that, even though, like, obviously this is gonna pop up on their radar, I think, because if you're on private land and you're operating in the national airspace, there ain't nothing the state of Michigan can do about it. They can't pull well, you can't take off and land here. They
Yeah.
can't pull that card.
Oh, I
And of
mean,
course,
they're just saying that you are helping a hunter, a person that went out hunting. You're helping him. Basically, if I understand this correctly, they are saying that we are helping the hunter hunt because we are helping him find his lost game.
yeah. No, I think you'll do well there.
I
Yeah.
know we got a lot on the line, believe it or not.
I know you do, man, because I know you want to expand your business to, to Bulgaria if you
Yep.
could. You know what I mean? So I get that, man. You're an entrepreneur and you're kicking butt and taking names. And I think you're gonna kick butt and take a lot of names there in Michigan because, again, the state of Michigan does not control the airspace above Michigan.
Yep.
The federal government does.
Yep.
So that's the bottom line there. And FAA will always stand by that, dude. Like, you have a friend with the FAA. You have a friend there. Because they'll always go, "Oh, nope, we control it, you don't. Screw you, Michigan. Screw you, whatever town or whatever city wants to make an ordinance."
Yep. Yep.
And some of that's already been hashed out in court, and I think we're going to be dealing with a lot of laws around drones for a minute, because it's kind of, I'll be honest with you, dude, it's kind of the Wild West.
Oh,
It
is.
It is.
About it.
I had, so with your Matrice, let me ask you this: with your Matrice, have you run into any DJI? God, what is it called? Oh my God, it slips me. It's like a squawking thing.
Like remote ID.
Remote ID.
Yeah.
Are you dealing with that on your Matrices right now?
They all are built with remote ID in it. But if I understand remote ID correctly, remote ID in the areas that we're flying there's really nothing that the remote ID is doing because there's not radar coverage where we're flying. Radar coverage for the remote ID drones is in big cities like in Cleveland and the metro areas where remote ID, there's radars that are catching those signals coming in. And so then they know who's flying it, where they're flying it from. Where if I'm out in the middle of the country and it's 50 miles to the closest town, I don't believe that there's radars out there. But all the Matrice 30Ts come with the remote ID built in them.
Okay, but it hasn't hindered you or slowed you down.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean so it might just be an airport issue. Obviously, that's the greatest sin is to fly your drone near an airport.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, if remote ID is to protect putting drones near, people manned aircraft, then I'm cool with that.
Oh, I think there's definitely a spot for them. for sure, because I'm a licensed pilot myself. So I fly airplanes, and I understand the risk that is involved with these drones. And I wish everybody would. Like, if you're flying in my airplane at, let's say we're at pattern altitude of an airport at 2,000 feet, and some Yahoo that doesn't understand what his drone can do, and he's flying it at 2,000 feet, showing all his buddies, yeah, look how far I can see. And that sucker
Mm,
comes crashing through my windshield because I can't see it. I'm going 150 miles an hour. That's a bad deal. So
yeah.
everybody that flies a drone, I just hope they respect the fact that we pilots cannot see those little things, and we're going really, really fast. Yes, your drone could probably go to 10,000 feet, but that is not a good idea whatsoever. I don't care how many YouTube views you're going to get on that. It's
Yeah.
you could get somebody killed. So me, I understand all that stuff, and there's just no way. I mean, I have flown my drone in controlled airspace around an airport, but I got a Lance. I got it approved through the FAA. I told them when I'm doing it, how high I'm going, how long I'll be there.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
all the steps that are required to protect everybody else that wants to use the airport.
Yeah. And that's great, dude, because there people don't even understand there is a process that you can go through. Say like you want to take a picture of a control tower,
Yeah.
like there's a process to make that happen.
Yep.
But yeah, it is in a lot of ways, man. It is kind of the Wild West right now, and I'm not sure what's coming with all that in the next 10 years. That's a whole different sort of theoretical discussion, but things are getting hammered out, man. I feel good about your case with
Thank you.
Michigan,
Thank you.
and I support it 100%.
Did you happen to go on Facebook today and read that article that a guy wrote for us? AgWeb wrote a sweet article about us taking on the state of Michigan.
No, I didn't. I haven't seen that yet, but I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I think you'll do well there. Again, you might want to reach out to the FAA and get them involved. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't know. What do you think's coming next, man? Like, what do you see 2 years from now? Let's say with
Better thermal cameras. Like the thermal camera that they need to release to the public needs to be better. Like the 640 works that we have currently, but I truly believe that they could release a HD thermal camera that will be nuts. I mean, it will be crazy what we can see with that thing.
Mm.
Yep.
And I mean, the thermal camera you're using on your drone right now it seems pretty powerful. You have a lot of palettes, right? You have different palettes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but I
Like,
usually fly with one because you kind of get used to reading the one image. I mean, I tried switching up, doing like black hot and the other different ones, but I like tint. The stuff that's hot shows up red, and the other stuff does not.
right, but even with the camera you're using right now, I mean, you can clearly tell the difference between a deer and let's say a horse. I mean,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
it's
You
I mean,
tell
it's
the
pretty
difference.
definitive. In fact,
Yep.
you
But
you
the reason I
you have
say
to
that,
sort out
yeah,
wounded deer from just normal like
yeah, but
herd.
the way we sort that out is with our RGB camera. So then we go to that zoom camera, which is 1080 HD, and
Right.
the image has a lot more pixels within inside of the picture. So if we could get more pixels on our thermal, we're going to see a lot more details than we can currently see.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I swear I remember seeing this on one of your videos where you had just kind of been flying over normal deer. It wasn't the deer you were looking for, and they left thermal footprints behind them. Am I imagining that, or did that happen?
No, that happened. But you have to understand how that works. Like the conditions were absolutely ideal. Like meaning that the ground got cool, right? So the sun just went down like it did here. Um, so the ground got cool, the deer was laying, and that cool dew, then the deer got up and its warm feet from laying on top of it just stepped into that ground and it just left a little bit of a heat signature that was different. Like that wouldn't stay there for long, but it was. I mean, you're not kidding. There were definitely tracks there, thermal tracks. I see.
Thermal
I'm like,
tracks.
what? Did that thing
No,
just?
yeah, that blew my mind. And I'm glad you explained it because that makes sense. It was a conditional thing,
Yeah, it was
you
just
know.
ideal conditions. Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Oh, it was funny. I noticed it more and more as as we did it, but the conditions have to be right.
I'm curious, have you ever spooked anything from the sound of the drone?
Rarely, rarely. Like the only animal that I've spooked would be animals that live close to an area where people pressure them with four-wheelers or something like that, where if they hear a certain thing, they just leave, even if they haven't seen it or whatever. They just heard it and they're like, oh, it's that dirt bike that's going to be coming, or it's that four-wheeler or whatever, and then they just leave. But 90, I'm going to say 99% of the deer have no clue that we're there. I
Right.
mean, you can see that in the videos too, like all the content that I
Oh
put
yeah,
out.
because
I
it's
Most of the
mostly
time
hovering over deer. Yeah.
yeah, they're just laying there looking around, or they're feeding on something. But they're not
Yeah.
like that.
Right. Well, that's cool, man. Man, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I really appreciate you being here. This is a conversation I've wanted to have with you for a while because I am fascinated with your business model, and I thought it was very innovative. And like I said, I'm a drone guy, so
I appreciate
um,
that.
I
I mean,
love seeing drone guys do something innovative and succeed. You've definitely done that, and I'm sure you'll continue to do it, man.
cool.
Um,
What do you do with your drones?
art.
Okay.
So I do not have an advanced thermal drone. I can't afford it right now. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
what are they? About 15 grand,
Yeah.
roughly.
Yep. I think we might be dropping the price on our kit here in a week or so, but you should be able to get everything that I fly with for $14,500. Through our website.
And some really cool drone deer recovery swag.
There you go. Nice.
And that's true. True story.
Yep.
Mike will throw some swag in for you.
Yep. If you
Um,
between now and the end of September, we're giving $100 worth of swag. Some
yep.
some of the people, they just basically say, "Well, you're giving 15,000 for a T-shirt," but whatever. However you want to look at it, you can tell you're
No,
buying
dude.
an expensive
I,
T-shirt.
I can tell. I can tell you this, Mike. I'm obsessed with getting a thermal drone.
Cool.
Okay, if somebody put 15 grand in my lap tomorrow, it would all go to that. All right, and I'd still have the bills I got to pay and all that. Like I could have just wiped out. Like nope, I got my badass thermal drone.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm obsessed. I've been following this for a long time. I thought like when the Autel Evo 2 Dual came out, I thought that was like the greatest thing ever. And that came out like 3 or 4 years ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good drone, it's capable.
Yeah.
But then I see what you guys are flying, all weather drones with freaking spotlights and like even better stuff. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm blown
How
away by it.
come across drone deer recovery? Was it YouTube recommended it to you, or was it something else?
So I probably went hunting like myself in the search bar for something having to do with thermal drones, and you guys hit that algorithm, and I'm
Okay.
like, oh man, what's this?
Nice.
And watched the video and went, oh my god, this is awesome. These guys are great. Like,
Cool.
and subscribe immediately, and just been following your sort of your storyline ever since, and it's a
Nice.
really good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found you through being kind of proactive,
Okay.
searching out, thermal drone technology.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah. I most people that subscribed last year came through basically their hunting buddy, either seen it on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, and then started sharing it. And as soon as YouTube caught wind that people are digging the content, they started recommending it like nobody's business. And I think that's where people started seeing us more and more, is when YouTube stepped up their game and started recommending it to people.
I agree, man. Like you guys hit you hit the algorithm well, and it is unique.
It
Like
is.
there's really nothing else out there like it.
Yep.
It's
I agree.
certainly not on your level, you know.
Yeah.
So
If anybody that is listening, if they want to get involved, there's a lot of information on our website at dronedeerrecovery.com. And, some people think that they need to be a licensed operator with us to get the drone, and that's not true. If you guys want to do it on your own, you can still buy the equipment through us.
yeah, and it's not. I'm going to say it's not that hard to become like FAA certified, is what you're talking about, right?
I'm talking about a licensed operator through Drone Deer Recovery, where you get training from me. You learn about thermals. You start operating your own business underneath Drone Deer Recovery. So you become basically, people say like a franchise, but it's not a franchise because you have to follow FCC rules. So this is just giving you rights to the trademark of Drone Deer Recovery. And
Right.
then with that, we're going to send you leads and do marketing in your area to, get
Right.
you busy. That's what we say when we're saying a licensing deal.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Licensing with your company,
Yeah.
and being a part of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some idea. Like, I might bring you guys into my company. I might have some opportunities for you guys.
Okay.
Some documentary stuff, maybe. Like, again, dude. Like, I don't have 15 grand to drop on a drone, but I got other avenues of interesting things that I would definitely make you guys a part of.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. Thanks for being here, Mike. I appreciate
Thanks
you,
for
dude.
reaching
Everybody, it's real simple to find. Drone deer recovery is its own thing. So if you type that into Google search engine or a YouTube search bar, you're gonna get this this channel, this business, and they're kicking butt and taking names, and I love it.
Cool.
So yeah, man, I'm gonna end the recording. If you could just stick around for a minute, I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah.
I know you're a busy guy, man.
Thanks for having me and I look forward to this next season. Again, if you want to do something at a later time, let me know.
Oh yeah, man. I can have you guys back on. Bring your other guys with you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a big cool live show. talking
There.
about all kinds of things. But yeah, man, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.